Welcome to the latest episode of Terrible Towel Tuesday. I am your host, SimFBallCritic, and boy, do we have some juicy things to talk about tonight. Yeah, we definitely got some things to discuss, guys, and we're going to get right into it. Give me just a second, guys. You know I like to share out the stream to a few special individuals, so give me just a second. We'll do that. Then we'll take the roll call, and then we'll get it crackin'. What I also have to do again, guys, every now and then I forget to do something. I forgot to pull up the All 22, so I'm going to do that here in just a moment. But let me send this out to my good brother Tony, my cousin Floyd, and my father-in-law Leonard. I like to text it to them directly so they don't have to hunt and peck for it. And then we're going to go ahead and do the quick roll call and get it crackin'. But what's good, people? How's everybody's day? Hope you guys had a happy new year. And yeah, man, we got some things to talk about here tonight. So 1 second, guys, let me pull up my other browser here. You guys are going to hear me clickety-clacking just a little bit while I pull up the All 22. And then we can get it cracking here. Give me just a second. We'll do the roll call, and then, we'll do some All 22 first. Then we're going to dive into the AB stuff. I know everybody wants to do that, but I think we should dive into that a little bit later. I don't know. You guys tell me. Y'all tell me. I'll look over in the comments. Y'all want to attack that first, or y'all want to attack the All 22? Just a few things we're going to look at there, and then we can come back to AB. Y'all let me know. Kenyon says he would like to come on and break down this whole situation, so I'll be happy to have him do that. I know we have at least one other caller that wants to come on tonight, so I'll bring him on first, give him a few moments, and then we'll let Kenyon do his thing. And guys, because Kenyon brings a lot of different perspective, a lot of times I allow him to speak a little longer. I hope you guys understand that. But yeah, we'll dive into that. So while I'm pulling up the All 22, you guys let me know where y'all want to start. Give me just a quick moment, guys. Sorry for being so, let's make sure she's working. There she is. All right. So, what do y'all want to attack first, man? Let me check the comments. We're going to do a roll call, and then I'll check and see what you guys are saying. Real quick roll call. Adam Worthy, Steelers fan. Tyrese Harris, Scott Satoti, Jordan Mid, Ralph Fax, Trillix Ricky, Anthony Benicasa. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Benicasa or Benacasa. Maybe that's what it is. Benacasa. 17th letter. JJ Walker, Brandon Cheney, Champagne Poppy, J Will 501, Miguel Cody, Jesse Williams, my brother Tony in the building, Roger that 41, my man Kenyon, Brandon Cheney again, and Devious Thomas. I believe I saw his name, and we'll hold it right there. Before we go any further. So what y'all want to do? Y'all say AB first. Okay, some of you guys say AB first. All right. What up, Dez? My boy Dez in the building. He said AB got a home right here in Baltimore, baby. Shout outs to my good brother Dez. Again, that's my man right there, man. He's a Ravens fan, and me and him just chop it up, man. It ain't never personal. But shout outs to Dez. Hey, man, y'all got something brewing over there with Lamar Jackson with this run game. I'm just thinking it might run out soon when people get a hang of it, but with that defense and the run game catching people by storm this year, the Ravens could make some noise. All right, y'all say attack AB first. All right, let's do it. As a matter of fact, if you're ready to come on, go ahead and put that in the chat. What I'll do is give my quick account of the situation, and then I would love to have Kenyon come on and give his account, because like I always say, Kenyon always brings a different perspective. I like for you guys sometimes to hear things not out of just my mouth, because I don't want it to, have a bias effect. I want to hear other people's opinions. So Kenyon, if you're listening, if you're ready to come on, man, here shortly, I'll just do my quick 1-2 with AB, then bring you on, then knock out the All 22, then take the last call, then answer a few questions in the chat, and hopefully we can keep that down to a 30 to 35 minute slot. Works for everybody? All right, so let's go ahead and jump into my thoughts. Here it is, man. I can't wait to see what Kenyon has to say, and you guys are going to keep seeing me look over to see if Kenyon pops up. Yeah, he says, give me a second, I'm with it. All right, so probably by the time I'm done, he'll be ready. Let's go back a few years. Antonio Brown has been showing us that he's a diva. His antics. just recently, we heard about him, throwing a sofa or whatever it was out of the window. Some of you guys probably missed that. But, he was being sued because they said that he threw something out of the window, a chair or something, like some furniture or something like that. And it almost hits this guy's kid. Or it may have hit him. I don't know. It was either it terrified him or something to that nature. And the kid was was traumatized from that point on. But anyway, Antonio Brown did that. Okay, that kind of got swept under the rug. He's always had these off-field antics. Okay, let's just go back a couple years ago. AFC Championship, and mind you, it's been way more than this. But let's go back a few years ago. AFC Championship game. Well, before that, we go to Kansas City, we get the win. Everybody's psyched up, everybody's pumped up. Coach Tomlin is giving the team his best spill. And I love those moments. I hate the fact that Antonio Brown recorded it, but I love hearing those moments so you can really hear how Tomlin addresses the team, because we don't know. A lot of times people speculate whether he's a good coach or a bad coach, but we don't know. So I like to hear the nitty gritty. So hearing that off the cuff audio, I was pleased with that. When he was telling them what to do and saying, let's not pay attention to those a-holes, I can say that, I'm not going to curse, but he said, let's not, worry about those a-holes, talking about the Patriots and telling them to stay focused. But the main thing that he said was, let's stay off of social media. Let's keep all of the outside noise on the outside. Let's not get distracted. And what is Antonio Brown doing? Facebook Live. One of these numbers. That's what he's doing. As Tomlin is literally saying to stay off of social media. And that blew up, okay? And it puts Tomlin in a bad spot because I'm going to get to that. I don't want to go too far into that. Give me a second to get to the point I was just about to make. But anyway, we see Antonio Brown throwing the Gatorade bottle and kicking, things on the sideline. We saw him blow up this year with the receivers coach, and had a conversation with Fichtner. We've seen him continue to act like a diva. And we've continued to hear things that Antonio Brown does outside of the organization, okay? He's a diva. He's a loose cannon. Now, let me tie this together a little bit. Mike Tomlin is going to get the blame, guys, because a lot of people I'm already seeing, they're saying, see, he doesn't run a tight ship. And, he has to be held accountable for keeping his team in check. Okay, I agree with you on that. But have you ever heard of sometimes there's one bad seed in the bunch? One bad apple. And I'm not saying that Antonio Brown is a bad guy, but I think any of us with eyes can see that Antonio Brown is a bit selfish. Okay, he's a bit selfish. Let's not forget that AB has had one of his best seasons in terms of touchdowns. He led the league in touchdowns, but I think 15 might be his high or tied his best. Still caught over 100, received over 1,000 yards. I can't remember how many he caught. I didn't look at his receptions. Don't know if he kept the streak of 100 going. May have, not sure. But I know what he did do is he did set some more records this year. He had over 1,000 yards, 15 touchdowns. What's the beef about? Here's the beef. Antonio Brown wants to be the man all the time. Okay, you got this young kid in Juju Smith-Schuster coming along. Came along last year, and then Juju is, let's fast forward to this year, Juju looked like he was getting a lot of targets. Now, why is that? Obviously because Antonio Brown is taking away a lot of the coverage, i.e. we noticed that in the Bengal game, right? Didn't we notice that the lack of the presence of AB didn't allow our offense to click the way we wanted to? Obviously because they were able to roll coverage over to Juju, excuse me. And also sometimes they would roll coverage over to Juju and Vance McDonald and leaving the rest of these guys to fend for themselves, right? Okay. So, it's human nature when you're the man, even though you understand that you're demanding and commanding double teams, you understand all that, but it's human nature for you to get a little jealous. I get it. But then Roethlisberger made a comment earlier in the season. You guys remember that? When he said, he made a little comment about AB should have ran a flatter route. Talking about the Denver game. I believe it was the Denver game he was talking about. He still had no business throwing that interception in the end zone because Roby was all over it anyway. Whether the D lineman was going to make an athletic play or not, Roby was all over that. But you remember when Ben Roethlisberger on his show on 93.7 The Fan, the number one Cochran show, he basically alluded to AB has to run a flatter route there. Y'all know Roethlisberger does the passive aggressive. We already know that, and I'm over it. We know that's how Ben is. It is what it is. We just got to accept it for what it is. He's done it to players. He's done it to coaches, and he still, he ties it back in at the end saying that's still my guy. It tries to massage you after punching you in the face. That's been Big Ben Roethlisberger. Okay, so he says that. And then he also said, we should have went to Juju 4 times. Remember when he said that? So he created friction right there between himself and AB because he's acting like he's favoring Juju. Again, come on, Ben Roethlisberger, and I'm not saying that you're doing this, but you can't sit there and act like you don't know why Juju is able to eat. Of course, Juju is phenomenal because not every number 2 eats when the number 1 gets double teamed. Juju is still a bad boy. Juju is probably still a number 1 on any other team, and Juju might very well end up being our number 1 at some point when there is no more Antonio Brown, whether that's him playing out his contract or if the Steelers actually trade him. So I'm not taking anything away from Juju. However, Ben, you can't do that. Can't create that friction. So then it's rumored that something happened on Wednesday. I mean, we're hearing all these reports. Of course, you have Roethlisberger and others refuting it. I didn't listen to Tomlin's press conference today. I think he did one today. Didn't fully listen to Ben's either, because, I'm just going to let some of that pass as far as all the stuff I saw on Twitter today. I'll probably listen to both of them tonight and kind of assess it for myself. But basically, you get the reports coming out that there's something that went on Wednesday, and there was some type of blow up between him and Roethlisberger, and reportedly a ball was thrown at Roethlisberger, and AB left practice. And here's the dilemma. All week, Tomlin has said he's been questionable with a knee, right? So now they're claiming that, again, these are reports. I don't know if it's true, but they're claiming that it really wasn't injury related. It was because he skipped practices, which he has skipped some practices in the past, even this season. We know that. And basically, Tomlin has given him a pass for a good amount of his career, because obviously he's your best player, and that puts the coach in a tight spot. I get it. Because as soon as some of you guys were going to say, oh, he's not disciplined, he allows players to get away with stuff, it will be the same guys that will turn around and say, but, that's your star guy. We can't put him on the bench. We can't trade him. You can't win that situation. There are going to be fans that's going to say it's wrong either way he goes with it. But anyway, fast forward up to Sunday. Supposedly he missed another walkthrough. The decision was made that he wasn't going to play, and the reports are that Antonio Brown leaves during halftime. So my whole thing about this, man, is if any of this is true, if it's true what they're saying about Antonio Brown, I got to be honest. He's 30 years old. He's not going to change. This is the man he is. This is who he is. He's been this way. Let's not forget. We've seen this before years ago. He has these bouts where he's comes off selfish, and all the players are going to say, well, he's a competitor. I get it, but we understand that there's basically been 1 or 2 problem childs in the Steelers organization in the last 5 years. One would be Antonio Brown. The other, you would have to say, and I don't want to call him a problem child, but the way Le'Veon Bell handled this situation this year was kind of crazy. I think Le'Veon should have just been quiet the whole time, because then he doesn't, he makes the Steelers the villain. But by him talking so much, and by him poking fun, and by him tweeting out things here and there during the games and stuff like that, and, rapping about it, all that stuff, it makes him the villain in a lot of people's eyes, which in reality, I don't think there was anything wrong with what Le'Veon Bell did. I explained this on Sunday. I'll say it again really quick. The Steelers definitely attempted to pay him. They just tried to pay him the same way they've paid every other specialist outside of quarterback. They basically offered him the Antonio Brown deal. 5 years, $70 million. And I say the Antonio Brown deal because basically the guaranteed money was about the same. That's how they do business, whether you agree or disagree. So for people to keep saying they didn't want to pay him, come on, man, you can't say that, because look at how many other players, great players, that's come through the organization that's been through the same situation. You got one on your team right now that was in that situation in Antonio Brown. Okay, Le'Veon felt like, no, that's not enough. I want a little more guarantee. I'm going to call your bluff, and I'm going to take a chance on myself and not sign your franchise tag. And I'm going to skip the year, and I'm going to come at it next year as a, no strings attached free agent, unless the Steelers, for whatever reason, decide to tag him again or place a transitional tag on him, which I think that's just delaying the process. But essentially, you're going to come into the season as a free agent. I get it. I don't put blame on either one of them. But I just don't like the way he handled it in terms of the talking. So where does that leave us with Antonio Brown? Excuse me. And Kenya, let me know if you're ready to roll, man. I'll get you in. Let me see if Kenyon in the comments, and I'll bring Kenyon on to speak his piece. So where does that lead me, and what do I think the Steelers should do with Antonio Brown? Honestly, at this point, man, listen, it's sad to say. I would hate to say to trade him because I love Antonio Brown on the field. But I will say this: if Antonio Brown is truly a problem, all right, Kenya, I'm gonna get you in a second. If he's truly a problem, if he's truly a cancer in that locker room, listen, I'm about the organization, guys. I'm a Steeler fan. I'm gonna be a Steeler fan long after Antonio Brown, the same way I was a Steeler fan, and long after one of my favorite players in Hines Ward. The organization must go on. And if he's really that much of a problem, we don't know. I'm just saying if he's really a problem, he's really demanding a trade, go ahead and honor it. If it makes sense. If you can get the necessary draft picks and or talent for him. Again, let's not forget he's 30 years old. And he's a super talented player, so I'm sure you can get some type of trade value, but let's not act like other teams would be amped to, trade for what we really would want. I mean, we talking first and second rounds this year. You know what I mean? Or we talking player for player. Defensively, give us somebody, so I don't know what it would take to trade him, but I'm just saying if all of this is true and Antonio Brown is being unprofessional in that regard, hey, you got to do what you got to do. And, it's funny how the story is coming out that AB is saying Coach Tomlin is more aligned with the quarterback than him. To me, it's just crazy because I remember, guys, we were hearing a different story earlier. We were hearing more of the story of, Tomlin and Ben had an issue. So to me, it's all crazy. None of us know what's going on, but we all can actually say we've seen Antonio Brown in years past, up until this year, do things that is unprofessional. And I hate to call another man childish, but there's some childish things that it seems that he's done. Not blaming him, but I'm just saying, those are my thoughts on it. But I'm going to bring my boy Kenyon off in here. Let me get the headphones. I think they plugged in. I want to hear what Kenyon has to say, guys. And who knows? Maybe we won't even get to the All-22 tonight. I mean, what are we really watching film for? All right, Kenyon, I'm about to call you right now, my brother. Excuse me. Kenyon, what's up, man?
New Year, man. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, man. All right, man. Enlighten the people, man. Tell us what is going on with this Tomlin, Roethlisberger, Antonio Brown, Rooney, and COVID situation here.
I mean, you pretty much said it. Basically, for me, it's just, AB's been this way the whole time. It's not like a surprise. You got to remember, his own personal trainer from, when is that? That he grew up with, that he trained him since he was little. He left. Remember, he said he was a problem.
Oh,
so
yeah.
He can't train him anymore. So, Ryan Clark, what Ryan Clark said is just something that we kind of knew underneath. And what I always told you he's a me guy. I said, if you watch things in a game, you will see him not really participate. Like he's part of the team. He says the right things in the locker room sometimes. Like, oh yeah, I want to win and all this stuff. But he's about those stats. And what Ryan Clark said, once he got his money, and you start walking around thinking you're the franchise, and it's really a advent of it's really that he's part of that Mike Wallace era. Because remember, they're part of the same class. So Mike Wallace was the first person to start, give me my contract, give me my money. Remember, but he was a one-trick pony, and I knew Pittsburgh wasn't going to pay him. So, AB is just following suit, and I think it's hard because you got to figure he's a guy who came from nothing, and he's had to work hard to get everything he's gotten, but he's a me guy, and it's really permeated through the whole team. So you have AB like that, you have Le'Veon like that. Le'Veon is more like business, but you have those two. Ben is passive aggressive. Tomlin, while a lot of players think he's a player's coach, that's one of the things about him I don't like, where he doesn't have a heavy part. You know what I mean? Because he's so close in age to them. You know what I mean?
Very true.
It's kind of hard to be a disciplinarian like that. But this, to me, is a moment where the organization really has to look at going forward, what do we want to be? And, a lot of people say the window is closing. And I always tell people the window is closing only so far as how fast you can rebuild it. And the blueprint is in front of you. So you can say you drafted a quarterback the last 2 years. I'm really interested to see Mason Rudolph play because I think he can become a starter. I don't know if he can, but I think he can. So, if Ben has a couple of more years left, great. But the AB thing to me is like, and I don't want him to start cancering Juju. You know what I mean? Because it rubs off on everybody. You know what I mean? So the things that he's doing, and he's 30 years old, you can't trade him because of that cap hit right now. But do you just cut bait? And that you'll basically be losing two of your big guns.
Yeah, that makes it tough, man.
I mean, I don't know. What do you do in that situation? I mean, I like AB, but I'm with you. I'm picking the organization over the player all day. So
yeah, man. And if he's really a cancer, I was just over at Leonard's house a few minutes ago before I walked back over here, and I was telling him, I was like, not to put him in that category. I said, see, Leonard, you're a typical fan. Fans always go with the hot take, like, oh yeah, let's get rid of. But it's like, as soon as you say that, then people will turn around and say how stupid Tomlin or the Rooneys are for letting him go out the door. Like this, it's a no-win situation for the coach. Yeah, there's no way he can please everybody in saying, all right, we're going to get rid of him, but okay, we're going to keep him. And all right, I'm going to be a disciplinarian to him, but you know what? I got to let him play next week. You see what I'm saying? It's like, that's a tough spot to be in. And I don't know what the answer is, to be honest with you. When it's your best guy. Like, AB still is probably the best talent on the offense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's a tough situation.
Yeah, he's declining, but he's starting to decline, but he's still the best talent on the offense.
Right.
Unless you just say, and for all the people that keep posting fire Tomlin, it's like, why? Like, I mean, it's just a waste of time. It's like, why are you talking about that? It's like, they're not getting rid of Tomlin. They're gonna get rid of the player. It just makes me realize that you kind of don't know your history, and it's not to be just. It's just you don't. You think it's like, well, it's a different time. It's like, no, not really. I mean, some organizations are gonna still do the same things they've been doing, but Pittsburgh's not gonna fire Tomlin. He's never had a losing season, but you want to fire him unless you guys are gonna give me viable candidates. Stop. Like Sim said, just stop, quit, because you're not gonna give me a viable candidate. None. You're not going to give me any candidate that can replace him.
You know what I think, and I meant to say this Sunday, man, but I'll say it now. I think the most I might have said it. I don't even remember. These days run together. The most likely scenario is I think Tomlin is on contract through the 2020 season.
Right.
The most likely scenario for you guys that are ready to move on is they let him play out the contract and then they decide not to renew. Same thing they did with Todd Haley.
Yep.
Same exact thing. And to me, that's the most I think that's happening is next season or maybe the season after he's playing, he's coaching for his remaining tenure to see if he will be re-signed. But to think, I just don't believe they're going to fire him. They don't fire coaches. I mean, I don't know.
They don't, and then it's like the people that you're not giving me viable candidates. It's like I said, it's the anger. It's the anger of a season where you don't go to the playoffs. Like, we're all angry. All Steelers fans are angry, but you have to have a big picture perspective. You can't have a short-term perspective, because when you do that, you end up like the Arizona Cardinals. And if you want to be the Arizona Cardinals, then we could just fire everybody and keep changing the train and see what works, see what sticks for 1 year, and then the year doesn't work, because there's no stability that way. You can't build anything that way. So, it's so funny how, people have that attitude. And I always say, you have to give me some facts. Like you always say, give me some facts, because I'll debate you all day on that as far as Tomlin go. If you rank the coaches in the NFL, he's in the top 5. So, who are you going to replace him with? I mean, for that system, for the Pittsburgh Steelers system. Mike Munchak, great offensive line coach, but he's already been a coach before. He was in Tennessee. They didn't win. That's why he's coaching for us. So, yeah. I look at it. I look at it with a big picture sense, and I don't rush to judgment on certain people. The AB situation is just out of control now. So it's kind of, what do you do with a player that, because he's gonna do it again. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's like you once you let the monster out the box, you know what I mean? You can't put it back in. So he's gonna do it again. So what do you do with AB? I mean, really the concern should be, what do you do with AB? Do you bring him back with that team, with those players, for another year and ride it out?
Oh, man, that's a tough situation, man. And it's, and this is not to pick on the last commenter there. I'm not coming at you directly, but we see this all the time, too. A lot of people say Tomlin needs to talk to AB. Tomlin needs to sit him down. And do we think that this hasn't happened all of these years?
Yeah.
I'm sure Tomlin has some stern things to say to him after that Facebook Live thing. Remember, they caught Tomlin basically cursing out the Patriots. I'm pretty sure if there was ever a time for him to say, look, bruh, what's your problem? That was it. It's just, I think it's what Kenyon is saying. I mean, we don't have proof of what happens in the locker room, but I think all of us can use the eye test. Antonio Brown continues to do things. It's a him problem. And like Kenyon said, like Ryan Clark alluded to, it's a me problem. That's AB. I think the same thing happens with another team. If it's a situation that he's not in favor of or whatever, it's unfortunate, man, because that's our guy. I mean, the dude is a monster. 15 touchdowns. You know what I mean? And like this guy here saying Tomlin is soft. Listen, we are not apologists. We don't apologize for Tomlin. And I saw somebody earlier say he's not top 5 situationally. Hey, I agree with that. That's his biggest issue to me, is time management and situational football. Absolutely. Has to improve there. But what we're saying is, when you hear myself and Kenyon and others say we're done with talking Tomlin, guys, I just can't talk about things I don't have facts about. I don't know if the man is soft. I don't know if he doesn't talk to his players. I don't know what the conversation was Wednesday with him, AB, Ben Roethlisberger, and what the situation really was. I don't know how much he goes over and talks to the players during the game, even though we see it on camera. Those things I will not debate with folks, because I don't have the answer, nor do you guys. Well, we can talk about the things that are fact. Time management, challenges. Come on, Tomlin. You got to do better in those areas. Situational football. Come on, man.
Yeah. I'm not ranking him very high in situational football.
Not at all.
He gets an F in challenges. because it's almost like I don't think he has someone in the booth to tell him not to challenge. You know what I mean? Like somebody usually they have somebody in the booth telling you, maybe you should challenge this, coach. Maybe you should do this, coach. You know what I mean? He doesn't have anybody like that. So I think he's doing that by himself or by gut, and his gut has been wrong all year. So it's kind of like I don't look at it like that where it's that dire of a situation. I think that the Steelers' issues are issues that are a 3-year running thing. And, part of it's been, I mean, people don't want to blame Ben, but part of it's been to Ben is passive aggressive. When you're passive aggressive, that shows. You can't say one thing in the media and then say another thing in the locker room. You know what I mean? It's mixed messages. So he has that going on, and then the defense, which we always talk about or allude to, we know the changes that have to happen with the defense. And I was listening to Steelers Depot yesterday. Very interesting, and I agree with Alex Kozora. Shout out Dave Brown. I shout them out.
Look, I love Alex, by the way, man.
Listen,
those
man.
Dudes over there. Oh, real quick, Kenya, but before I don't want to throw you off your point, but before you go to them, let me ask you this, because me and Tony said this a while back. Do you like Alex and Dave better than Dave and Dave?
Yeah, I actually do, because Alex brings the video evidence. Like, he'll break it down.
I love Alex.
He's more centric with the draft. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Before it wasn't like that. He's more, and then I think it's just a better thing. It's a young guy, old guy, kind of works.
Yes.
So I like that.
He's a young buck. He's like 24, 25. He's a young guy.
I like that dynamic, and I think he does his research really well. And you can kind of see the times when he subbed how good he was at it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So,
yeah.
I think that it's a great addition. I think going forward is going to benefit because he breaks down the draft really well. So I like that about him. But what they said, they made a comment about Bud Dupree, or Alex wrote about Bud Dupree. Yeah, I would cut him. Like, people don't want to hear that, but I would cut him.
Yeah.
Because you need a couple of pass rushers. You know what I mean? We need a couple of them. I mean, T.J. Watt has the potential to be a stud. He had 20 sacks this year. He has the potential to be a stud. I really like T.J. Watt. But we need to get a couple of pass rushers. So I think that some of the moves that they have to make are going to be interesting moves, because the money that they do have, they can go out and get somebody, which is something else I agree with them. They can go get like a B level to mid A level, defensive player or something like that if they're out there. But I think the pickings are slim unless you trade for somebody. So Pittsburgh is going to have a really interesting offseason because besides the drama, just with some of the moves they make. I'm expecting Keith Butler to be let go. I'm expecting I don't know about Joey Porter. I'm just trying to figure out, what does Joey Porter do?
Yeah, man. I mean, he was great. What's funny, man? I was talking to Leonard and Tony the other day. We really don't have a dog on defense.
Nah.
Joey Porter was that. Like, I need that attitude. And that's why I'm going to see what you think about this, too, while we're on this subject. Leonard was saying he wished that maybe the Steelers could have grabbed Swearinger. And I was like, you know what? That might not have been bad because of the attitude that dude brings. Like, I think we don't have that guy. Cam Hayward is and isn't. He doesn't bark as much, but his presence, he's a dog. But we don't have that guy that, I wish we had a Jalen Ramsey mentality type of dude on the team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And Joey Porter was that. But I don't know if Joey is a great coach. Let's just be honest.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the defense. No, because T.J. Watt he's just emotion. He's kind of consistent.
Right.
Hayward, he's not really a super dog. I'm trying to think. The linebackers, no. The cornerbacks, no. Terrell Evans he's a rookie. I can't judge him. Mm-hmm. Sean Davis is growing. I don't know about Sean Davis yet. Yeah, man, we don't have a dog. LJ Ford plays hard, But I agree with what they said on Steel Depot. He's a backup. I mean, for the people that want him to play, I'm like, he's a backup. He's not your starter. He's not your dude. You put him in situations. That's when he comes in the game. Nickel.
Right.
You know, whatever. But Morgan Burnett, I mean, they got to cut him. They got to get rid of him. I'm just trying to think. It's so many changes, and it's really what me and you always talk about. It's for all the hits that Kevin Colbert gets with receiving, as far as his picks go. He's had a lot of misses with those DBs.
Absolutely.
A lot of misses with the linebacker. You can't. The Shazier thing is unfortunate, but we need like a real, like we need a Devin White. Like I'm watching LSU today. He's trying to kill the quarterback. You know what I mean? He's everywhere. You know what I mean? And another thing we need, and I know people don't want to hear this, Ixnay on the athleticism. I like athleticism. We need IQ guys.
Yes.
That's what we need.
Yes.
We need IQ guys. We need guys who can read and diagnose and be in the right spot and make the play, anticipate, and we need multiple playmakers. So in this draft coming up, I'm telling all you guys in the chat that are Steelers fans, forget the people you can't get. Because you have to be aware of the guys who are playmakers that you know we can get when we pick. And then add in your mind the compensatory picks that we may have. And you need to build the defense that way. You can trade up to get certain people, but you're not getting Josh Allen, kid from Kentucky. He's going 1 or 2 or 3 now.
Yeah.
His stock is off the charts right now.
Especially now.
If you saw the game, if you saw any part of that game today, he was blowing up. They were double teaming him. He was blowing up plays. So that kid it's over. So we need to really be realistic on our draft picks. Don't throw names out there that you know you're not going to get. So it's like you have to look at it that way. So when I look at our future, you can do damage because the draft is heavily stacked this year with defensive linemen. There's a lot of outside linebackers. The middle linebackers have to wait and see. You know what I mean? But that's how we have to look at our team in the future because that's the key. Our defense needs to get back to being like old Steelers. Like when you watch the Ravens identity on defense has never changed. Have you ever thought about it? Think about that, Sam. They've been the same way for like the last 10 years.
Yeah.
They've always had that, the defense. So I think it's going to be, we need to really look at it that way and look at those type of players that can help us. We need playmakers, multiple, not one, not two, maybe multiple guys. And as much as I love Shazier, and he covered up a lot of our sins, you know, you gotta have a couple of guys like that. You know what I mean? Because our future is gonna be playing Baker Mayfield two times a year. Dealing with Lamar Jackson, you know what I mean? Dealing with well, I don't know the quarterback's gonna be in Cincinnati, but dealing with Cincinnati. So we need to look at it that way and get dogs back on defense. Like you said, we need dogs, like real dogs. So I'm with you. I think you and Tony, I'm with you. I'm with you on that one, man.
Yeah, man, it's pretty crazy. But yeah, man, let me check and see if my other guy wants to come on, man. Anything else you want to enlighten us on about this situation, or?
Well, we know what the deal is. AB's been this way since he became a star. Let me just put it that way. Since he became a star. And what Ryan Clark said is really enlightening to hear Ryan Clark say that, because that's inside us. That's stuff we never knew. You know what I mean? That's stuff we never knew about AB. You know, he wants to screaming, I'm the franchise. And I mean, that 4 minutes was very insightful. You know what I mean? That was behind the curtain. That was behind the steel curtain, if you want to call it that. So it was, that was enlightening. And the AB stuff, I said it before, if you watch him in the game, you never see him celebrating. He celebrates with his own player, with his receivers, but you never see him over there hyping nobody up. AB about AB.
Yeah.
He's just another one in the long line. OBJ, AB, Terrell Owens, they all the same to me. Right? You know what I mean? They all the same. So it's part of being a great receiver in the NFL, I guess. But if you trade him, if he goes somewhere else, he'll never be looked at the way he could have been looked at if he just would have been a team guy. The Steelers are a me team, and we have a lot of me play. The Steelers are a we team, and we have a lot of me players. That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah, man, it's really unfortunate, because it's just tough all the way around. Like I said, man, it puts everybody in a bad spot. Whether you agree with him or Ben or Tomlin or whoever else, what do you do in this situation? Again, I keep seeing people saying, "Oh, Tomlin lets him get away with murder." Well, so you gonna bench him? I'm just saying. I agree he should be more disciplined, but I'm telling you now, if he at any point had benched Antonio Brown and we lost the game, y'all would try to rip this guy to shreds. Matter of fact, had we lost against the Bengals and this same story would have broke, oh man, y'all would have had his head. Y'all would have had his head.
Yeah.
So
and for you saying that, think about it this way. You're the people that try to defend AB, think about it. He came to the game with non-Steelers gear on. They deactivated him, and he left at halftime.
Yeah.
He didn't show up Saturday. He didn't show up all week. What excuse are you going to give me for that?
Yeah.
You're a game out of. You're trying to make the playoffs, and you sit out the game where you have to win the game. Think about that. So don't ever tell me when people say, I'm like, you guys don't understand. That's pouting. That's pouting.
It's
because
crazy.
you didn't get your way. So it is what it is.
Pure crazy. Well, man, I appreciate you coming on. I'm definitely going to lean to you and Tony. I know you listening, and Debbie when she's ready. This off season, man, I think we could do more of these, more conversations, because there's a lot to talk about and not a lot for me to talk about by myself while we wait for the draft. And, we can chop it up about playoffs and things like that. So we'll see how we're going to do this going forward, man. But, I definitely appreciate you always coming in and tuning in to us and dropping us with some Jews.
Yeah, man. I'm just trying to be Scottie Pippen, man. To your Jordan.
Yeah, man. Well, we better get these six more rings then.
Exactly. All right, man.
All right, man. Appreciate you.
All
right, guys. So that's the one and only Kenyon Wright, man. He's probably going to be our draft expert, the Alex Kozor, if you will. This is going to be fun, man. I think we could do some special things here on the Terrible Towel Tuesday, man, and get a lot of more of you guys involved during the off season. I'm going to bring on Jesse real quick, man, let him give his piece. And I don't know, guys. I don't even know if I'm going to do all 22. We are already at 43 minutes. Do we really need it? I'll give a quick synopsis of what happened in the game, but I think we'll bypass that. I think this was great talk with Kenyon. So let me go ahead and grab Jesse real quick, read some comments, and then we'll be out of here. And really quick, man, listen, I will never understand why people from other teams come to another team's podcast. And you don't bother me at all. I appreciate the view. You're helping the views go up. I love it. But I just don't understand the mentality. I don't do that. I have never in my life gone to another team's podcast, whether we won or lost the game. I don't know. I don't understand that psyche, but if it floats your, excuse me. See, I'm getting choked up right there. If it floats your boat, thumbs up to you. I just don't understand it. Whatever. But anyway, let's call Jesse, man. Let's get him on really, really quick. Jesse,
what's going on, brother?
What's up, man? Can we get out of 2018 season without drama, man?
Oh my lord!
I know it's alleged because some people was getting on me in the comments. I know we don't know. It's alleged, but let's be honest. Where there's smoke, sometimes there's fire with Antonio Brown. So, what you got for us, man?
Oh, first I wanted to talk to a couple people in the chat that was saying get rid of Ben and all that. That's not gonna happen. So if you know the Steelers, Ben is not going nowhere until he wants to go somewhere, until he retire, whether that be 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. So we might as well even talk about that. AB will go before Ben. I bet that.
Yeah.
And also, everybody should know AB is a me guy. My opinion, he rather get his stats and rather get his touchdowns first and 1 second. It's been proven. It's been games where we won and he didn't get his touches. He got mad. Last year, the Chicago game, he got thrown to about 20 times and he was mad. It's just crazy to me how he basically is not a team person. His work ethic is crazy. He to me he's the best wide receiver in the game, and he don't want to win first. He mad somebody else get the ball. I just don't understand that, and I hate to say it, Sim, but I said we might be looking at some down years. I said that on several occasions.
It's coming.
It's too much drama percolating around the organization, and there's enough blame to go around from up top to the coaches to the players. Reason why I say organization is even when Le'Veon never signed his franchise tender. Before the deadline, why we didn't use some of that money to go, fill a couple holes out in the defense? Yeah, it may not be a whole lot of people out there to go get, but it was a couple players we could have got that would have helped us out.
You make a good point, man, because I think we talked about this too. You think they should have? Let me ask the question this way: do you think they knew, they had an idea he wasn't coming back, and if they did, should they have just rescinded the tag? Because they couldn't use the money while it was on the table.
Right. I think it always was a possibility when you see him tweeting and you see he not coming to training camp and he, week 1 he not there. Week 2, offensive line saying something about him. It's a possibility this guy might not be coming back in his locker room.
Yeah.
Where's the contingency plan?
That's true.
And you could say that about AB. Before he got his money, he had I forget what it was, an outburst or something he did, and we next following year, because we told him we was gonna pay him, we paid him. And me personally, I don't think we should trade him, because that's $20 to $20 million and a cap hit that we'd be taking.
Yeah.
And we're taking our best offensive player off the team. I like Juju. I think he's a good player. He's gonna be a great player. But him getting double teamed, you see how that was in the Cincinnati game.
Very true.
With no running game, with no real dog back there. I don't know, son. I really don't know. It might be some rough ones. We got some, like Kenya said, he was right. We got some major decisions to make during this offseason. Coaches, I don't think Tomlin should go anywhere. I don't think the whole blame is on Tomlin.
Oh man, I gotta laugh sometimes at the chat, man. Frank V, come on, man. he said Lamar gonna choke and he ugly. Come, man. Y'all need
Lamar Jackson?
Yeah, y'all need to cut it out, man. That just made me laugh real quick. I didn't mean to cut you off, but oh my god, they be cracking me up.
That's funny. I think that's actually gonna be a good game, a good match to LA and Baltimore. That's gonna be a good game. I want to see how that turn out.
Yeah, man. I think I'm gonna go out on the limb here, and again, contrary to what people would think, and Dez knows this, I ain't got no hate towards the Ravens. That's why it's funny when they come in here. I don't understand that. Like, it is what it is. We respect the Ravens. Y'all our arch nemesis, but it's like looking in the mirror for the most part. When they both was at their height, same style, hard-nosed football. But with all that said, I actually think, man, if the Chargers can make any type of adjustments after getting punched and, like punch drunk in that first game, I think if they can make some adjustments and clamp down the run, it's going to be a very interesting game. Man, it's going to be tough in Baltimore, but maybe they take the bloop, then they look at what Cleveland was able to. Well, Cleveland still couldn't stop the run either. But I think it's going to be a different story this time. Not saying the Ravens going to lose, but
a more competitive game.
Absolutely. Sure. Absolutely. Yep.
So Sam, I got a question for you. Which direction you think we should go in the draft first pick, being that we pick at 20? You think we should go inside linebacker, outside linebacker, corner, D line?
Oh man, I hate to sound like a broken record, but to repeat what I said last year, which I'm sad to be saying it again, it's gonna be based on what they do in free agency. Because
Right.
I think, and I don't really know who's out there. I don't think the cornerback market is that great. I haven't checked on the safeties, but I think if they could get steady help in the secondary, you gotta go. In my opinion, I might have to go middle first. If the beast is there, and that's going to be the key. If you got that monster and middle linebacker that's sitting there at 20, you got to take him, because with all the problems that we had this year, clearly we still saw we were hurting big time.
That middle of that field.
Oh man, the
we
middle.
got abused. And every team know it. That's our weakness, and they exploit it every game. We get them chunks in the middle of the field, and it seems like we can't put a Band-Aid on it or nothing.
Nothing. And I think,
just be hemorrhaging.
I would love to have another monster on the outside, but I think if you could probably find that guy second or third round that could complement TJ, if you get your stud in the middle. But again, that's all that comes down to, if in the free agency, maybe they find a guy in the middle that can help us out, and then if we do that, then we need a dime corner. We need sub package guy. I mean, it's so many holes. Because Morgan Burnett ain't it.
But I think if we plug that middle up and get a dog on that outside, the rest of passion, we got a shot. And don't get rid of AB.
Nah.
I mean,
gotta patch that up.
The drama gonna continue with AB and not AB. We just need to realize that. Long as it's been there, it's always gonna be a little bit of turmoil, a little bit of drama. I'm coming to the realization that a lot of players don't like them. They don't like them. They may respect them because of Super Bowls and everything, but as far as a person, they don't like them. But you ain't gotta like them.
Yeah.
You come to play. It's a business.
That's true. The funny thing is, man, it hurt my heart when I looked at it today. I'm going to throw some stats out there that some of y'all probably won't believe. Man, I'm going to look at it again, actually, while we here live, to make sure the phone wasn't giving me the wrong reading. But defensively, the Steelers wasn't as bad as our problem was situational football, man. That was it.
Mm-hmm. We got to get better in that situational football. We definitely got to get better. That hurt us all season long.
That was it. Because if you look at the D, hold on, let me find it. Total defense. Pittsburgh Steelers, believe it or not, was 6th in the league. 6th. Can you believe that?
And total overall defense?
Total defense. Now, against the pass,
I actually thought we were first in that.
We were 10th against the pass. Which, funny thing is, if you guys remember a year or so ago, I was saying, man, if we could just get in the top 10, we'd be all right, because I'm assuming that's allowing us to get a few more stops here, a few more stops there, and that's all we needed to get us over the hump.
Yeah, that's game changing. We lost a lot of games at the end of in the fourth quarter.
Situational,
just not able to get off the field, not able to make that play. That's why I agree with Kenya. We really miss Ryan Shazier.
Yeah, big time.
He covered up a lot of holes on that defense. He was our only playmaker.
Yep. And you know what, man?
Game. He knocks the ball out with Jeremy Hill. Everybody forgot about that? Gave us the ball back. We was able to win that game. Several occasions, jumping up in the air, picking people off. He was a dog, man.
He was the guy, man. And it's funny, I'm gonna give the Ravens some credit here. What I liked what they did in that game against Cleveland, and I'm gonna blame Cleveland and give the Ravens the credit. You see what they did on those 4 downs? Blitz.
Pressure.
They gonna make Baker Mayfield beat them. I respected that. On the other hand, I'm screaming at Cleveland, like, run the football on first down. You on the 40. Don't just let Baker drop back. All you need is like 5 yards. Don't make it so hard. You get that boy in a 4th and 10. Come on, man.
I just knew they was gonna hand off the ball to Chubb on that first
Run
down.
the
I
ball,
seen that. I
dog.
said, "Oh, nah, we out of the playoffs." I said it.
And what
I said,
didn't
"Cause
we
they
do?
gonna bring that pressure. They gonna bring it."
They got to do it. And what didn't we do? 3rd and 20. We gonna just drop back and sit comfortably in cover 4. And the Saints, obviously, and here's the thing, here's coaching, Keith Butler. Obviously, Sean Payton and them knew exactly what we were gonna do because they called a dagger route. Perfect design against cover 4. And your boy, and I heard Butler say later on in the week, we jumped some things that we shouldn't have. He was talking about Burnett. Because Burnett was way too shallow. He's supposed to be playing that middle read. Play the sticks.
Mm-hmm.
There you have it. But we should have sent some heat. It's 3rd and 20. Make Breeze, it's Breeze, but make him throw the ball short. Get rid of the ball.
Get that ball out of his hand quick and tackle the catch.
And that's how we lost so many
20-something yards to get?
20 yards, dog. You probably get them in you run up and make the catch, and let's just be optimistic and say they get 10. Then you defend in a 4th and 10 to end the game.
Exactly.
Situational football.
Bottom line.
Yep.
Oh, I have one other question for you. How do you feel about Keith Butler? You think it's time for him to go? I honestly think it's time for him to go. It was just numerous occasions I feel he made some bad play calls. He ain't put us in a position to win in certain downs and distance that I was paying attention to when I was watching the all 22.
I think it's time, man. I'm gonna be honest with y'all, and I know Leonard is listening. He probably gonna laugh at me. Last year, right when we lost to the Jags in the playoffs, I told Leonard, I said, "Look, I don't like Butler right now, but I think we need to give him another season with better talent and see what we can do." This year, we really don't get better talent, but I said, "Okay, let's see what he does." And you hit the nail on the head right there. Situationally, Butler just hasn't been the answer. And
defense out there when it ain't supposed to be out there.
Oh man,
when you showed that, I said, "Oh my God!" When you showed that last week on the All 22, I said, "Oh, look at this here."
It's bad, man. And it's so many situations. So many times where we in the nickel or something on 1st down, but on 2nd and 8, we in base. Like it's a play I was gonna show tonight. It's a play where, and I know some injuries had something to do with it. And this was interesting. We was in base 3-4 with Morgan Burnett as one of the inside backers. It wasn't nickel because there was no Mike Hilton. It wasn't dime. There wasn't a 3rd safety. At that point, Burnett was the 3rd safety. There was no Cam Sutton. It was our 3 big boys in the middle. Bud Dupree was flanked out because what they ended up doing is going 4 wide, and they ran the running back out the backfield. So it was 5 guys.
Bud Dupree out there on the island defending.
Yep. We was in zone. It was Bud in coverage.
And everybody keep abusing us. And
TJ was in coverage, and your 2 corners, and you had Jordan Dangerfield and deep along with Edmonds, and your boy Burnett was inside with Ford. And like I said, I know injuries caused that, but still, that's kind of crazy. I mean, not saying that Morgan Burnett can't do, he plays a sub backer anyway when we in sub package, but still in base, I was like, whoa.
On base, yeah, that's the enigma right there that you can't figure out. In base,
yeah, it was crazy. I mean, I will say it was creative because I guess what it does do for you, and this, I know some people are gonna laugh, but I've actually tried to do this in Madden. You get a better coverage guy in base in case it's a pass. So I get it, no question. I get why you try that, and that it is kind of creative, but the down and distance just didn't match.
Exactly. Down where the ball was at, and the distance.
Yeah, it was. It was pretty crazy. But shoot, man, we've been on here an hour, man. You got anything left before you roll?
Nah, basically, man, I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, man. Regardless of the AB on the team, been on the team, whether we got a a 1-15 season or 15-1 season, man. You know, I just want to say, man, regardless, here we go Steelers, man. Here we go Steelers. And I appreciate the podcast, man. I'm loving it, man. Anytime you want a joker to come on, I'll come on, man.
Absolutely, man. Definitely appreciate that. Appreciate you reaching out. Appreciate your call, man. And yeah, man, I'm happy that you guys enjoy it. And like I said, man, I think we should try to do something a little different in the off season. You know, every now and then we'll have just a discussion. You know, it might be you and I, or me and Kenyon, or multiple of us. You know, we're just chopping it up. I would love for you guys to start calling in more. Other guys here in the chat. I did see one guy say, is there a phone line? No, what I do is I use Skype. So if you want to come on, send me a Skype request, same exact name as the channel, SimFBallCritic, send me a request. And all you have to do is when I start the podcast on Tuesdays, send me a chat in there and say, hey, I want to come on. I'll be happy to have you. Because let's face it, there's really not a whole lot to talk about, guys. And I'm not going to have but so much to talk about because I want to keep this going throughout the year like I did last year. I did a pretty good job with it last year. But, you know, the content starts getting a little dull after a while. So just to give y'all that perspective, what I'm thinking we're probably going to do, we'll all be a part of it. Whenever y'all want to come on, we'll come on and chop up whatever we want to chop up. I'll definitely be still looking at other sites and things like, you know, that nature and seeing what's being reported and following guys. That's how I get my information, and I'll come on and talk about that. But what I plan to do going forward, probably during the playoffs, man, unless there's some more news that comes out about Pittsburgh, maybe what we can do a little bit is, you know, take a look at what some of the other teams are doing. Since I believe we'll have the All-22 through the playoffs, I believe. Maybe we'll start looking at what some other teams are doing and just commenting on who we think is going to make it out the AFC, out the NFC, who gets to the Super Bowl. And then after that, we'll dive into who we probably should start looking at and preparing for the draft. But we'll make it interesting and keep it going. So what I'm going to do really quick, man, let's take a look at the chat and see what you guys got. I'm going to be here maybe another 4 or 5 minutes, and then we'll get up out of here. Blackbird Blitz said all 22 is always something to talk about, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Absolutely. Maybe we'll do that. We'll just I don't know how long you keep it, though. This is my first year having it, so I don't know how long you have access to the material. But, yeah, if so, we could do that. We could go back and look at old games and old situations. Kenyon says he was going to leave if they didn't get rid of LeBeau. So the Rooneys got rid of LeBeau. Do you remember that, Night Wolf? Yeah, and Kenyon alluded to that the last time he was on the show. And a lot of you fans don't really recall that, man. There was a big situation back then when LeBeau left. Because remember, most fans was like, why did LeBeau leave like that? That was the reason why. So everything ain't on Tomlin when it comes to Butler and comes to personnel. The GM and the owners have a lot of say-so when it comes to that. Keith R says, Sim, what do you think of Todd Bowles as a new defensive coordinator? I take it. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I'll take anybody who's made their hay in this league as a defensive coordinator over Keith Butler. No disrespect to Butler. You've had your time. Your time has come and gone. I think it's time to get rid of him and bring another voice in there. And bring somebody else with a different type of mentality in there. Again, look at the Ravens, man. And the Ravens have done this consistently. Remember when they had Dean Pease? And now I think this guy's name is Martindale. I think is this guy's name. They bringing the heat. They keeping the culture of the Ravens. You either going to beat us or we going to get you. I love that. Now, of course, they run some zone from time to time too. But what I'm saying is when it's crunch time, they going to make you beat them. And they got that kind of attitude on defense. And I think our team is lacking that, and I don't know if that's all Butler because he doesn't trust these guys in some of those situations. It seems like every time it's a high-leverage situation, we in zone coverage. And sometimes it's soft where we don't even send a blitz. Can't be doing that, man. R8 says, I expect a public apology from Steelers fans when the Ravens spank the Chargers next week. RH, man, we really don't care about the Ravens. We don't care. We don't care what y'all do. Hey, if y'all win the championship, great. But we could care less. At least speaking from myself, who cares? Like, you so wrapped up in that. But on the same token, keep that same energy when y'all don't make it to the Super Bowl. That's what matters, right? It matters about getting to the Super Bowl and winning the chip. It ain't all about playoff wins, right? Ain't that what we always say about our team, for those who oppose Tomlin? So I want you to keep the same energy when y'all get knocked out of the playoffs, if y'all get knocked out. I don't know if you will or not. Brent Fox says, thanks for having us on, Sim. Very therapeutic, especially now. Hey, man, no problem, man. You guys are the reason why I continue to do it. Blue says, Juju went into the Saints game talking about fantasy football on Twitter. Should have been a team player and not trying to stat. Okay, so you're blaming Juju for the Saints game. Okay, that's a different opinion there. Florida boy says, Eagles, Eagles, Eagles. Absolutely. Hey, round of applause to the Eagles. Listen, I'm in Pennsylvania, Jack. So now that my Steelers ain't in it, I like to see the Eagles do their thing. Let's keep it all PA. I only have one team, but hey, I'm going to root for the Eagles to fly. Eagles fly. Why not? Let's see what they do. And if not the Eagles, I'm going to root for the Seahawks because, your boy Russell Wilson is from my hometown. From my hometown, I got to rock with the home squad. So there you go. I like to see one of those teams, do their thing because it'd be great to see the teams that you don't think win. You don't think that the Seahawks or the Eagles are going to actually win it this year. So it'd be great to see it. Let's see. Two or three more minutes. Let's see. Eli Coolin says, Sim, you plan on streaming the first round of the draft with the chat? Oh, yeah. I'm going to do that. Because last year I did a lot of post reactions, but this year I plan to stream the picks. So that'll be dope. Steeler Ray says, Raven fans are quiet as church mouses when they lose. Right? Jorge Frias says, gonna be Cowboys and Texans in the Super Bowl. Ooh, that would be kind of crazy. I wouldn't be mad at that one. And Blackbird Blitz says, I agree. Saints are the Falcons' rival, but I don't hate if the Saints win. I only care if the Falcons lose. So, yeah, I'm in my feels right now. Yeah, I feel you, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't hate no team. I just love my team. You feel me? Yeah, I don't take the rivalry serious like that. I mean, yeah, of course, I want my team to win, but you ain't going to catch me arguing with a fan. Like, I just think that's corny. That's just me personally. Don't take what my feelings are. I just think that's corny to do that because ain't none of us on the field. Kenya says that Russell Love will be non-existent when we play them next. Hey, man, listen, when we played them the last time, Russell hurt me, man. He hurt me to my heart because he was making some incredible throws in that game when Marcus Wheaton got off for 212 yards on the ground. Again, why did that happen, guys? Because they took AB out of the game. Again, AB, that's what happens when you are the man. But Russell Wilson put a dagger right in my heart in that game, Kenya, man. It killed me. But this time we get him at home. And actually, I might say this right now, since that's the hometown love right there, that might be the game I go to next season. I actually plan on going to 2 next year. We should get them at home because we played them in Seattle last time. I think I might make the Seahawks and the Steelers game maybe a primetime game. I'm going to put that one in the air right now. Let's see. 2 more. K-Smooth says, we got the Rams. Yeah, buddy, that's going to be tough. We got them at home, though. We got we should have the Rams and Seahawks at home because we played both of them in their place the last 4 years or whatever. Yeah, Debbie. I would love if Mayock could have somehow ended up in our organization. Yeah, he's got a great eye for talent. I would have loved for that to have happened. And shout out to Boomin for the donation. Round of applause. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here, man. This show went extremely long, but, it's end of the season. We had a lot to talk about here tonight. I enjoyed it. And this is always great, man. I keep telling y'all, I would love for this podcast to turn into where I give a little of my information and then the rest of it is coming from you guys and we're having conversation, dialogue, and debate. I would love that. that would make this a really, really great place to be, especially during the off season. So I look forward to that. I'm challenging you guys to come on. Some of you guys come on a lot, like my man Jesse and Chris Castile and Kenyon, and a few others. So I'm challenging you guys, man, and Tony. I know Tony's going to get on here a few more times. So I'm challenging you guys to do that as we, keep this thing fun and cool while we wait for the draft, man. So, all right, man, next week, obviously there won't be any pre-game show, or I never got to that, but I promise I'm going to fit that into next season, so we'll have that ready to go. But obviously there won't be any post-game show. So now you can look forward to me just coming each and every Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, unless there's some wild news that breaks in between time, like if there's a firing or a trade or whatever. I mean, we can't trade right now, but if somebody's fired or something like that, some wild news about Tomlin, Ben, AB, whoever, we'll do a special show. But outside of that, y'all can expect 7:30 p.m. Eastern time each and every Tuesday. Outside of that, man, hope you guys enjoy some football. I believe there's a game on tonight, if I'm not mistaken. But if not, make sure you watch the national championship. Maybe we can get one of those guys on our squad. One of those boys from Clemson or Alabama. But outside of that, I hope you guys enjoy football this week. For those of you like myself who have to go back to work tomorrow, let's get through these 3 days and then we'll watch some football over the weekend. And our boys ain't in it, but hey, man, we still football fans, right? Let's watch some football. All right, I'll catch you guys later. Before we get out of here we go, Steelers. It's going to have to wait till next season, but we still love you, Steelers. Y'all just disappointed us a little bit this year, but it happens. But all right, man, y'all be good. Have a nice, safe weekend. Rest of the week, enjoy some football, and I'll see you guys back on Tuesday for Terrible Towel Tuesday. Peace.